my gosh. How fun is this?
So, is this an
So much
identity
fun.
type thing?
Oh my god.
I don't remember my identity.
Is this an
I don't
identity
know who I am. It's like
thing?
Well, okay. Carolyn asked a cool question. Carolyn, ask your question so that all can hear.
Can we factor it?
Could we factor it?
You factor out a question.
Well, what kind of an equation is this besides it being a trig equation? A polynomial, but it specifically, it's a quadratic trinomial. Hey, you guys, if this was 2a squared minus 7a plus 3 equals 0, would you be able to factor that?
Yeah.
Well, let's ignore this. Ignore this one for a little bit, okay? Ignore it. Let's factor this one. So you would multiply over the top and get 6a squared, negative 7a. Two factors that multiply to give us this, but add to give us this. Negative 1a, negative 6a. So this would factor, so this would be 2a squared plus negative 1a plus negative 6a plus 3 equals 0. Then group. So we can factor out an a here. This would be 2a plus negative 1. We could factor out a negative 3 here. And we would get 2a plus negative 1. So we would get a plus negative 3 times 2a plus negative 1 equals 0. There it is factored. Without the trig function in it.
And you just
Now-
substitute A in.
Yeah. So now our a, we're going to let a equal cosine of x. Right? Can I do that?
Heck yeah.
And now I can just put it right in there. So I'm going to do this. It's going to be cosine of x plus a negative 3 times 2 times the cosine of x plus a negative 1 equals 0. Okay, I'm going to stop for a second. Stop.
Oh, I see.
Jackson, you had your hand up there.
So, would you suggest doing it like that, where we like kind of like a side note where we do the quadratic part of it and then go take the final and plug it back in, kind of a thing?
So here's what I would say. I think it's good. It makes it look less complicated. And so if you are like into doing it like this, I would recommend it. But if you feel like you could do it from here, I'm okay with that too. Because we are in a college class, so I'm not going to tell you which way to do it. You're at a sophisticated level enough that I modeled a way to do it and bringing it back over to the trig. I modeled it that way, and if you feel good and comfortable like that, do it like that. But some people can actually just go from here to here without doing it that way. So you pick your comfort level and do the strategies that help you. You guys built up a lot of strategies over the last few years, so use the ones that work really good for you. If you're not sure, then probably go that way all the time. Okay? All right, now what do we do?
So now you solve for
What do we apply at this point?
what you said them both equal to 0.
Zero product property. So we go cosine of x plus negative 3 equals 0, and 2 cosine of x plus negative 1 equals 0.
First cosine of juice. Why is it telling me I can't do that? I know I did the same thing. Shoot, dang. Okay. So then, but this one would be pi. No, it wouldn't be, because you'd have to do all of that stuff. So it'd be x is equal So we just did.
Let's talk about this part, okay? Let's just talk about this part, and then I'll let you guys figure the other part out. Hey, this is asking, with the cosine of what angle is equal to 3?
Doesn't exist.
The cosine of what angle is equal to 3? Now, in this, your inputs for this equation are angles. The outputs for this part should be ratios, right? So that's the outputs for the cosine function. What is the output? What are the outputs for the cosine function? What's the range for the cosine function?
No, negative 1 to 1.
-1 to 1.
Included.
So if you put this one in your calculator, it's going to say,
Yeah, that's what it did.
not possible.
I definitely thought that
So this one, you're done. There's no solution to this part. I wouldn't say no solution altogether. I would just say not applicable or something like that. You cannot, this one cannot happen. You won't even get any solution at all, right? So this one, okay? And so you're going to focus on this part. But if this one did have a solution, you'd have to consider all the ones for this one and all the ones for this one. Okay, so there can be like an infinite number of infinite numbers of this. Anyway, okay, so you guys have the idea here for this one? Okay.
Let's do that
And tomorrow, you know what we'll do is tomorrow we're going to really look at this equation a little more.
Oh, sweet Lord. Okay.
Actually, no, we don't have to.
Oh, no.
What?
So
I don't know.
So we should get it all on one side and set it equal to 0.
Okay, first idea. Let's get it all on one side and set it equal to 0.
Is that an okay idea?
I like that idea. What do you guys think? Do you want to take this over here, or do you want to take the other stuff over there?
A positive.
We're going to keep this positive,
Yeah.
so we're going to subtract. So we're going to go 0 equals 2 cos squared of x minus sine of x minus 1.
So then could we just say that A?
Dallas?
Can we, don't we use identities now, like the Pythagorean theorem identity, we cancel out the square?
Yeah, the problem that I'm seeing right here, the problem is that we have two different functions here, so we can't. This is a A and this is like a B. These aren't the same. So we do need to use. So we have. Oh man, these are getting complicated, you guys. So we have sine squared of x plus cos squared of x equals 1.
So we need the square sign. So square the square sign.
Well, no. Can we just
We change the sign of 1 over cosine x.
sine? The one over sine is cosecant. So, but let's. Your idea about using identities to change things around is a good one. Yes, dear.
Cosine squared minus 1 identity or something.
Well, if I take this and solve it for cos squared, look. What if I do this, guys? Take this and solve it for cos squared. So I get cos squared of x equals 1 minus sine squared of x. Could I do that?
You could.
Okay, now, if I did, then I can take this and replace this right here.
Oh, smart.
Are you calling me smart?
Yeah.
You are smart.
Oh. Okay. Let's do that to start with.
I forget that you can do those kind of things.
Yeah, well, we're going to get good at it here in a little bit. Okay? We're going to remember this as one of our strategies all of the time. Okay, so now, here's what I'm going to do from this point. I want you guys to try to finish this one on your own tonight. And you can start the next assignment. I'm telling you what we're going to do tomorrow. tomorrow we'll finish this one together, and then all the ones that you started last night, we'll start answering questions on it, and then if there's any time left, you'll have a work day tomorrow. Okay?
But start skill practice 14.
Start skill practice, is it 14? Start skill practice 14. That's a tongue twister.
Being ready for this